Greetings fellow ukuleleans, Jeff Weinberger coming at you here with a new tutorial. I'd like to talk about an old Rolling Stones song from the mid-60s called Play With Fire. I've been in that mid-60s rock mode, especially British rock, and so I'm going to stay on that for a little while. And this song was 1965, right smack dab in the middle of the 60s. It was actually recorded only by Jagger and Richards of the Stones, but they had help from Phil Spector, who recorded it for them. He also played bass. And Jack Nietzsche, who was a California arranger, composer, he worked with the Beach Boys and lots of people. Very underrated guy that not too many people know about, but he was kind of behind the scenes on a lot of great records of the 60s. Did the strings for Neil Young and whatnot. So Jack Nietzsche played a little bit of harpsichord on this song and an instrument called the tam-tam, which is basically a Chinese gong. And Jagger sang, of course, and you can hear his voice so clearly because there's so little instrumentation. It's not noisy drums and loud electric guitars and all of that. It's all about Jagger on this one, and Keith Richards' beautiful acoustic guitar. And he did, Jagger play a little bit of tambourine too, just touches of it, put through Phil Spector's famous echo chamber. That echo chamber he really liked to use at RCA Records in Hollywood. So anyway, long story short, this song is very easy. There is not a lot to go over. I did a little spontaneous arrangement of it. I actually had never practiced that before. I turned the camera on and hoped for the best and caught it. But I was just kind of playing with Mick Jagger's vocal melody a little bit there. But the chords that I'm going to teach you today are so easy. Let's get right into it. It's in E minor, and that's the main chord during the verses. And that's 0, 4, 3, 2. Or if you want a fuller E minor, make it 4, 4, 3, 2. Especially on this low G ukulele, that's a little bit fuller. But the good old 0, 4, 3, 2 will certainly suffice. Nothing wrong with that either. And then the chorus, the intro and the chorus consist of the same chords. G for 2 beats, D for 2 beats, G for another 2 beats, and then C for 2 beats, and then E minor for 2 measures. So play with me 'cause you're playing with fire. So don't play with me 'cause you're playing with fire. That's the only chord change in the entire song. The rest of it is just E minor. Mick Jagger sings his verses and tells his story only over an E minor chord. Got your pretty diamonds, and you've got your this and that. His story basically, I don't know the lyrics, but his story is about a girl from kind of the upper crust of London, a rich girl. And it's kind of a similar mood and subject and sarcasm that he has in that to, say, Bob Dylan's Like a Rolling Stone. He had a lot of the same kind of stuff, putting down a rich girl who slums it with poor, scruffy rock musicians. And Mick Jagger had his share of rich girls that he knew at that time. So it could have been about any number of actual people, but might have also been a fictitious character. But yeah, it's his kind of put down of upper society, upper class society. And rock and roll was very rebellious then in the mid-60s. And there was an awful lot of that us against them, the counterculture and the establishment. And you can read all about that in your history books, but yeah, that's what's going on in Jagger's lyrics. Another thing to know about this is that I mentioned before that the other Rolling Stones did not appear on it. It was when Jagger and Richards took a trip to L.A., and then they shortly after that went on tour and met up with their fellow Stones. But it was really just Jagger and Richards representing the Stones on that, with help from Nietzsche and Spector. So that's kind of an interesting thing. Let's go back over the song one more time. So you've got that whole verse, da-dun, 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 da, all E minor, da-dun, dun, dun, da-dun, dun, 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 dun. If you want to make that more interesting, you could probably fingerpick it like Keith Richards did on his acoustic guitar. That would be a nice sound, going something like. like the every other pattern, picking your G and your E, followed by your C and your A. That'd be a nice pattern. Straight down pattern would work, which is G, C, E, A in a row. Could throw a pinch in there. Any number of basic finger-picking patterns would work to kind of capture the flavor of Keith Richards' acoustic guitar. You're not going to ever sound exactly like that because he had 6 strings and a much wider range, but we can emulate it. We can kind of get that vibe and that idea, and then adapt that to the ukulele. And then if you pick straight down on the chords, it sounds an awful lot like the guitar part for the chorus, like this. That works for me, just straight down. One thing you'll notice, I noticed this, is that getting from G to D, you'll want to practice that. That might be a standard chord change that you're used to, but if you're not, this is a good opportunity to work on that. Because if you don't get to the D on time, you get a muted note. So you want to get out of the G chord, grab that D as smoothly as you can, so when you go to play it, you get the first note of it on your G string. If you're not there in time, you get that. You get just muted notes. So that takes some practice. That'll definitely be a challenge to smooth out. You gotta time it just right. Gotta hop on that chord right on beat 1. Probably getting a C is no problem for you. That's an easy chord, everyone knows it. We've been playing that for years and years and years, and it's not a problem. But getting from G to D, I suggest that you practice that. That'd be a good one. Alright, ukulele people, hope you enjoyed this little tutorial. It was very short because it's a simple song, but it's a much enjoyed song by the world, and also an underappreciated song. It's one of those mid-60s rock gems that just doesn't get talked about a lot on ukulele channels such as this. So I hope you enjoy me doing something a little bit different. Alright, ukulele people, be sure to subscribe, be sure to like, be sure to click that notify bell, and I will catch you later. Bye-bye.